All right, just to let you guys know, this is not going up on the day that this happened because it's 5:30 in the afternoon and it would take way too much work to get this up. But you guys are watching a pre-recorded video that I made on the weekend currently. So let's get into today's little gold nugget because this one was a doozy. It's not even 8 a.m. and one of my work friends that I have known for a few years just got in from an extravagant vacation in Europe. She's calling me, panicking that nothing's working, everything's broken. She sends me the icon of the crying icon, and she calls me. And this woman always calls me with her webcam on. She literally likes to sit there and stare into the webcam like she was able to look right into my soul. That conversation goes on for well over an hour, and she's very high in the company. I would say she's at least two tiers below C suite, but definitely a person that could ruin your life if you said the wrong thing. And that's going to be a recurring theme in today's video is how much power these people have to ruin your job. You always treat these people with the utmost respect. So I get off the phone call with her, and instantly I'm shoulder tapped again by the C suite. They can't change settings on their computer that they were able to change a week ago, and they are not happy. I tell her that I don't have time right now because I'm literally dealing with another phone call from another person having the exact same problems. And remember, I'm not support. I'm a manager. I manage my area. I don't have to help these people. But some of them are like little helpless globs of people with very, very large titles. So I make it a point that when I see the name, and if you've never worked in a corporation, you have to get good at knowing who the important players are. You have to know their names because I have treated people poorly on the phone because I made the mistake of not knowing that they were an executive before. And my boss is like, you better watch it, Millennial Steam, which is foreshadowing this entire video. 10:15 a.m. and Gen Z's like, Millennial Steam, you've been on the phone nonstop since you got here. And I'm like, it started when I got in my car this morning. And I'm like, I need to get out of here. I am getting demolished. My soul is being crushed, and my self-esteem is leaking down the side of my leg. So I get in the car and I start driving. I'm 15 minutes away. I'm going to run inside this place for 5 minutes. And I come outside and I look at my phone, and it's the C suite again. Need help. Come here now. Printer busted. And I'm like, sure. I'm, in a promobile going up to the other office, and suddenly I get another message. Odd request, MS. We need coffee. So, just like the slave I am, I turn the promobile in the opposite direction and start heading north, back to the main office to get the coffee. Because obviously, the C suite isn't going to get their own coffee. You need the monkeys to get the coffee. 11 a.m. I'm rolling up to the building, and one of my salon friends works right across the street, and she must have detected that I was nearby because she started text messaging me. Anyhow, had to put those on the back burner. And as I'm driving into the parking lot, you can feel the money from the executives. This is the feels you get from these people. $100,000 vehicles lined up against the front of the building in the main entrance to where they all sit together. And of course, I'm embarrassed of the car that I drive. I never go anywhere and feel good about my Promobile. So I went to the opposite side of the building, and I had hoped to slip in through the side door with my badge because for some reason they let me have a security badge for a building that I don't work in all the time. And so I put my badge up to the scanner and it's like, still good. It gave me the thumbs up. So I slipped in just like a ninja and I worked my way through the side of the building that doesn't have anyone in it. It is dark as hell. There's no one that's been in that area for, I don't know, 9, 10 months. Been a long time. So it has that stale air feeling to it, right? So I come up, pop open the printer, look inside for any printer jams, check the settings. Everything looks good. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this printer. It's 11:35 a.m. and the C-suite has detected that there is movement out in the main area. So they come in to see what I'm doing. I I don't know what to say. I never look at them directly. I try not to interact with them directly. They're not like us. And it is very obvious that they're not like us. When you look at their computers, it's an intense maze of apps. Like, I even asked this person, is this a Windows computer? Because he had it configured in such a way that it seemed like it didn't look like a normal computer. Like, I kept looking at it, like, why is this over here and this over here? And why are all these spreadsheets and predictions, all kinds of mathematical software running on it. And I mean, you're talking about a souped up PC. This isn't the pro computer that I give all the rest of the people. These are machines. These are $1,000 machines, and we used to throw that around back in the day. But these are $4,000 to $5,000 computers. They're not ordinary computers. And then I look at the decorations, and their company slogans, right? These executive people really, really believe in the company. And as I'm looking around, waiting for server group to evaluate what the situation is in the closet, because they usually use a domain controller as the print server, just because it's got so many resources, and the printer's not the issues. They made some sort of change last night over the network that spread to all the offices, but it can't see the printer. The printer doesn't ping back. It's there. I can see it physically with my own two eyeballs, but according to this computer, it doesn't exist. So I hop off the phone real quick. I get with the network group, ask them, hey, what's going on? And they punch some things into the computer, and within seconds, I'm able to see that printer yet again. Comes back to life. Of course, your average end user doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about, so I don't even try to explain it. Most of these people don't care about technology, regardless of how dependent they are on the technology. So I don't speak computer to them. There's no point. All they want is to get back to work. So, so I went to each one of their offices one by one, and I installed the new printer IP address and tested a page, showed them that it worked. They always want proof that things work, right? So I got to the last one, and it's about 1:30. And you think, why is this taking so long? Well, it's because these things take time sometimes. That, and I'm not tech support. Today, I had to figure out how to do this stuff on the fly. I do not do the grunt level work, but the C class think that everyone is a grunt. As I said in videos before, everyone that's not them is a printer repair person. So at about 1:30, I get to the last C-suite, and as I look in there, she's wiggling her toes at me, and she calls me into her office by my first name. I've met this lady one time since she started working here, and she has never forgotten my name. And she waves me over and says, hey, say hello to this other executive on the webcam. I am not the most handsome man in the world. I hesitate, and she insists, get in the shot, millennials team. And I say, hello. Hey, by the way, you know that person that quit last week? I need their security access card. And he's like, Oh, okay, it's in my office. Just run over there, grab it, and then give it to this other executive who just hired another person who needs this access to this building because the person that makes those access cards has been on vacation for the last 3 months, working somewhere in the world that we don't know where, or at least that's not information that I need to know. So she tells me that she needs to finish up a meeting, and I go and I sit outside of her office and I look at my shoes, which I put shoes on specifically to come into this building because this isn't the kind of place where you go into wearing non-work shoes. So I'm sitting there looking at my shoes and I realize that I have a stain on the side of one, and it bothered me because I had to keep looking at it. And I I waited, about 20 minutes for her to get off the phone, and I could hear her getting off the phone inside of her office. And the second she got off the phone, I messaged her, and I said, "Hey, are you ready?" And she comes running towards the door, barefooted. And I go to work as quickly as humanly possible on our computer just to get this printer added. Since the server's down, I took a picture of the information that I needed to set up the printer with IP rather than going through a print server like we normally would do. And I forgot with that. I somehow didn't save that picture. It didn't save. I don't know where it went. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't remember the number of this printer. And I'm like, oh God, please come back. And suddenly the image of the printer number comes back into my head. And I start putting it in really quickly. And she grabs her shoes, puts her shoes on, and uh, all of them got together and decided that it was lunchtime. And so they asked me to go with them, and I politely declined. The last thing I need to do is sit there and be judged by people who make a lot more money than I do. A few minutes later, I'm sitting in the Promobile trying to calm myself down because I don't like going into the executive suites. It's not a place that's conducive to human life. Before I even get back to the office, the senior manager is calling me and asking me why I'm not back in my office because yet there's another computer emergency. About an hour later, the president of my department calls me, and I look at his phone call coming in on my phone, and I'm like, my first thought, and this is exactly what I said to him, and this is where I'm going to end the video. And I said to him, which one of the executives doesn't like something that I said? And that conversation just went south from there.